Welcome everyone. Welcome to MedTech Canada Speaker Series webinar, AI-enabled MedTech, Unlocking the Next Wave of Innovation. Before we begin, I would like to go through some housekeeping notes. All participant microphones will remain muted to avoid background noise. Please do not unmute yourselves during the session. If you have a question or comment, use the chat function or the Q&A button at the top of your screen. This webinar is being recorded, and following the session, recordings will be available to all registered participants on our website. We are very excited to have a distinguished speaker with us today from MIDI, a leader in medical, life science, and healthcare product innovation. We have Gregory Montalbano, Principal and Chief Operating Officer at MIDI, Medical Product Development. With over 3 decades of leadership experience, Gregory has been at the forefront of driving innovation in the medtech and biotech sectors. At MIDI, he leads a multidisciplinary team that takes medical technologies from concept to commercialization, blending research, design, engineering, and regulatory expertise to bring breakthrough products to market. Please join me in welcoming Gregory Montalbano. Over to you, Greg.
Thank you, Karen. So welcome to the webinar on AI-enabled MedTech, Unlocking the Next Wave of Innovation. My name's, as Karen mentioned, Greg Montalbano. I'm the co-founder and COO of MIDI Medical Product Development, and I'm excited to present to you today with MedTech Canada. So my goal is to give you a practical understanding how artificial intelligence and machine learning is transforming healthcare with insights to help you stay at the forefront of this rapidly changing field. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So Karen, you see the slide, yes?
Yes, all good.
Okay, great. Yeah. Awesome. So just talking about AI in healthcare and what we're going to discuss in this webinar today. So the main purpose is to make everyone AI informed. And as you know, AI is reshaping healthcare. As medtech developers, we need to stay informed, and that is basically essential to our development process. So our aim is to give you a solid foundation so you can understand AI strategies and how they can play an effective role in your development programs. So we're here because AI has moved beyond concept and into our daily practice. It's driving innovation across diagnostics, monitoring, treatment plans, and patient engagement. Understanding these shifts will help you align your own development efforts, basically where the industry is truly headed. So our goal is not just to talk about AI, but to help you recognize how it can integrate within your product lifecycle, from concept through to commercialization. And we'll explore where AI can genuinely enhance usability, accuracy, outcomes while remaining compliant and responsible. So you'll gain a practical framework for approaching AI, one that connects technical possibilities with real clinical needs, and we'll be highlighting examples and decision points you can apply directly to your current or future programs. And our focus is on building your AI-informed mindset, understanding both the potential and the guardrails. So this includes readiness, transparency, ethical design, and how to plan regulatory alignment without stifling innovation. So I had a very good introduction by Karen. Again, Greg Montalbano, CEO of MIDI. I've been practicing medical product development for over 25 years. And certainly, AI and machine learning over the past 8 years, all the way through to current day. So we're go through the little details about MIDI. We are a consulting firm. We work with startups, emerging companies, all the way through to OEM medical manufacturers, helping them innovate new product platforms around their tech. So we're made up of individuals who are expert in voice of the customer, understanding pre, during, post-usage ceremony, with mechanical engineering, manufacturing, electrical, software, material engineers, AI, machine learning, and industrial designers and ergonomic experts who are adept at translating all that into user-driven, actionable strategies for your program. So jumping into the presentation, let's talk about the first paradigm shift in digital health. So we're discussing these paradigm shifts, both present and future. So DTX digital therapeutics is where we're at today. So healthcare has shifted dramatically towards patient-centered care. Digital therapeutics really embody this shift. Instead of just treating patients, we're empowering them to take charge of their health. So with this data, connected apps, continuous feedbacks, patients aren't just on the sidelines anymore. They're active players in their own medical journey. As we move to the next paradigm shift, we're hitting this big wave, which is already here, artificial intelligence. So AI is changing the way we think about medicine. It's helping clinicians diagnose faster, make better decisions, tailor treatments in ways that just weren't possible before. So from reading medical images to predictive risks, AI is transforming how care is delivered across the entire healthcare ecosystem. And with that, we have all this excitement, but we have promises and perils. So we really need a balance. So AI is not perfect. It just brings new challenges in and around data privacy, bias, and accountability. And we have to make sure that we're not just using AI because it's powerful, but because it's responsible. And the real opportunity lies with harnessing AI's potential while protecting patients, maintaining transparency, and keeping trust at the center of innovation. So I want to get into the three core elements of AI and medtech. So I'll draw an analogy. So if you're a chef, or you're a high-end chef, a high-end restaurant, there's key elements to cooking and food. There's salt, fat, acid, and heat, right? And knowing these core aspects, the most core aspects of food, you can be an effective chef. So I want to explain the three core elements of AI so you can be an effective AI machine learning chef. So first, we start out with a data set, which is a collection of curated data. So AI's power begins with the data it's trained on. In medtech, this includes things like patient records, imaging scans, clinical trial results as well. So the more diverse the data set, the more accurate and reliable AI becomes. Next is a learning algorithm, which is basically a set of instructions that turns something, an input, into another thing, which is an output. So a learning algorithm is a step-by-step instruction guiding how an AI processes data. And the algorithm systematically takes inputs such as patient symptoms or imaging scans and transforms them into outputs like diagnoses and treatment recommendations. Third is AI prediction. So AI algorithms learn to write their own instructions for turning inputs into outputs. The prediction is the output. So AI algorithms learn over time to automatically create their own instructions for converting inputs to outputs, continually refining accuracy. And this helps us better understand how AI works in practice for machine learning. So on this slide, I wanted to talk about, AI and operating through machine learning. So basically, this allows computers to learn and improve from data without explicitly being programmed for each task. By feeding an algorithm with high quality data, machine learning enables it to develop strategies and improve its performance over time. So here's the breakdown of the most commonly used machine learning methods in medtech, and also it's important to understand from a development standpoint. The first is supervised learning. So supervised learning is like teaching with a guide. The algorithm is trained on labeled data sets where the correct outcomes are already known. And the goals is to enable the algorithm to learn from this data and apply what it has learned to new and unseen data. So to give an example, imagine two groups of medical records, one with known diagnoses and one without. By training the model on the labeled group, it can accurately predict diagnoses in the unlabeled group. So this mirrors how a student learns from examples with correct answers. The next is unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is like learning without a teacher. The algorithm is given a data set with labeled outcomes and must find patterns or groupings on its own. So an example is, let's say we have a data set of patients with various symptoms, lab results, ages, and genders, but no diagnoses. The algorithm might group patients with similar attributes, potentially revealing new insights or associations that were previously unnoticed. So this method is useful for discovering hidden patterns. The next is reinforcement learning, which is about learning through trial and error. So the algorithm learns to make a sequence of decisions by receiving feedback only after a task is completed, rather than in every step. So an example of this is considering training a model to simulate the spread of a disease within a virtual society. So the model tests different interventions, and when a specific results in fewer infections, the algorithm reinforces the strategies that led to that successful outcome. It's sort of like training a dog. You reward the desired behavior, encouraging the dog to repeat it. Then we have deep learning, neural networks. So what is it? So deep learning is a powerful subset of machine learning. It involves neural networks with multiple layers modeled after human brain structure, allowing the algorithm to learn intricate patterns and relationships. So an example of this is a deep learning model can analyze thousands of medical images and learn to detect subtle patterns like signs of cancer that may be missed by the human eye. So its layered structure allows it to recognize complex relationships in data without explicit programming. So deep learning models are more capable and require more data and time to train efficiently. On this slide, I want to talk about Nick Bostrom. He's a philosopher at the University of Oxford, and he described 3 major levels in the development of AI in his book called Superintelligence. So it's important to understand these 3 layers, where we're at and where we're heading with regards to these levels. So the first is artificial narrow intelligence. So I call it ANI. So ANI has incredible pattern matching, recognizability, in huge data sets. So this makes it perfect for solving text, voice, or image-based classification clustering problems. It's an algorithm that can basically excel at precise defined single tasks. For instance, it can play chess like nobody else, but its IQ is at 0. So why does this matter? Most AI in medtech today falls under ANI, which is designed to excel at very specific tasks, such as analyzing medical images, automating routine processes. Recognizing that current AI capabilities are narrow helps developers focus on creating devices that leverage ANI strengths, such as high accuracy in data pattern recognition, without overestimating its abilities. The next we'll talk about is artificial general intelligence, or AGI. So AGI one day could basically have a human being's comprehension at total cognitive capacity. This is where human level AI happens, and it can reason, it can argue, it can memorize, it can solve issues like we do. So why does this matter? Basically, AGI represents a future state of AI where we can achieve human-like cognitive abilities, performing across a wide range of tasks with flexibility and understanding. And while we're not there yet, understanding AGI is important because it sets a benchmark for future innovation and helps developers set realistic expectations about what AI can currently do. And then we're really future tripping when we talk about artificial superintelligence, ASI. So theoretically, this could have humanity's combined cognitive capacity or even more. And humanity at this point would probably not be able to grasp its knowledge and understanding or its reasoning. Now, why does this matter? So ASI would basically surpass human intelligence, which raises significant ethical and safety concerns. Although it remains hypothetical, understanding ASI is crucial for developers because it emphasizes the need for careful consideration of long-term implications of AI in healthcare. And understanding these distinctions is really critical for medtech developers because it directly influences how AI is integrated into medical devices so we can set realistic goals, enhance patient care, and maintain ethical standards. This next slide talks about the 5 levels of AI automation. So we're going to explore a practical near-term overview of different levels of automation in medical technology. The first at the most basic level is humans only, no AI involved. And again, this is the way it's been all the way up to, current day. So at this foundation level, all tasks are performed by humans without any AI assistance. So this includes manual procedures, data processing through some simple algorithms that may be used, but it's not AI. An example of this is most procedures today fall into this category. Think of a surgeon performing a laparoscopic surgery or a researcher conducting meta-analysis. In these scenarios, human expertise is at the forefront with no AI involvement. So level 2, we have shadow mode. This is the physician as a teacher and AI as the student. So at this level, AI acts as the trainee, learning by observing human experts, similar to how medical students shadow physicians. An AI in shadow mode can follow the decision-making process of physicians without interfering. So an example of this is, imagine a physician diagnosing an X-ray while the AI algorithm silently monitors, taking notes and learning from this process. So the data is logged and used to refine AI's future diagnostic capabilities. Third is the AI assistant. So here, AI begins to actively support clinician decision-making by offering suggestions. So the AI analyzes data such as CT scans, for example, and highlights potential issues for the physician to investigate further. So an example of this, an AI might scan a database of chest CT images, identify suspicious signs, and bring them to the attention of the physician, who then makes the final judgment. Level 4, getting higher up in AI and involvement, we have partial automation. So AI can generate its own diagnoses. However, if AI encounters uncertainty, it seeks the assistance from a human physician. So this level represents a collaborative effort between AI and healthcare professionals. And then level 5, this is the pedal to the metal here. We have full automation. And this is where AI operates independently without human input. So these systems can perform entire tasks such as analyzing a mammogram and deciding on the next steps without consulting a physician. So just briefly, let's talk. I ran from basics wild to mild here. So let's talk about speculation and reality. So the fear of AI replaces physicians looms large, but it's more likely that AI will continue to excel at specific tasks, complementing rather than replacing human professionals. So understanding and developing for these 5 levels of automation is essential for creating safe, effective, and future-ready healthcare solutions that enhance rather than replace the role of healthcare professionals. So by using this approach, we ensure that AI is integrated into the medical practice, ultimately leading to better patient outcomes and more efficient healthcare. This next slide, I wanted to discuss, okay, we have these 5 levels. Why do they matter? Contextualize it. Why does it matter to us as patients, as developers, as being in the medical industry? So we're going to discuss, what each level truly matters within each level. So on the highest level, we have strategic development. So the first reason is by designing AI systems that are tailored to specific medical applications, developers can ensure that technology aims with clinical needs rather than forcing clinicians to adopt or adapt to the tool. So this focus basically is purpose-driven design. It creates meaningful and high-impact solutions. So it's really important to align yourself with that strategic thought process. Second, we have safety and reliability. So ultimately, these are absolutely essential. Every AI implementation in healthcare must prioritize the patient safety with consistent and dependable outcomes. So it's not enough for AI to be accurate once, it needs to be trustworthy every time. Then we have third is incremental innovation. So introducing AI gradually over time for healthcare professionals and patients will build trust within this technology. So we have a step-by-step integration which promotes adoption while minimizing risk. Fourth is enhanced collaboration, which is another cornerstone. So this is the most effective AI tool, and through augmented human intelligence, it's augmenting it, not replacing it. So AI should be complementary to clinical judgment, supporting healthcare providers in making it better, faster, and more confident decisions within their workflow. Next, number 5 is regulatory compliance. So regulatory compliance remains critical. Aligning AI systems with established regulatory standards and frameworks ensure they're safe, ethical, and approved for clinical use. Next is future proofing. So we also need to think long term. So future proofing AI means creating adaptable systems that remain effective as data, hardware, and algorithms evolve. So this ensures that technology stays relevant and reliable over time. Finally last is optimizing resource allocation. So by using AI to automate routine and repetitive tasks, we allow clinicians to focus their expertise on complex cases, improving efficiency, patient care, and quality. So in summary, understanding and developing AI across these automation levels is essential for integrating technology into healthcare effectively. And when it's done right, it ensures that safety, compliant, and improved patient outcomes will exist while keeping human expertise at the center of its innovation. So let's talk about AI challenges in current day. So artificial intelligence, we realize it's rapidly transforming our medtech landscape, offering unprecedented opportunities to us to enhance diagnostics, treatments, planning, and patient outcome. However, this rapid evolution that we're all experiencing also brings a host of complex challenges that developers and clinicians, regulators must address to ensure AI safety, ethical, and effective integration into medical practices and devices. So these challenges span across multiple dimensions: ethical considerations, data privacy, security, evolving regulatory frameworks, inherent biases in AI data sets, all of which must be carefully managed to maintain clinical trust and to safeguard patients' welfare and basically promote equitable innovation. So let's review the top 4 AI challenges we face today. The first is ethical AI use. So within that, let's talk about transparency. So many AI systems, especially deep learning models, function as black boxes, making basically the reasoning difficult to interpret. So this can hinder basically clinician trust and adoption. Additionally, under ethical AI use, we have clinical accountability. So if AI contributes to an error, it's not always clear who's responsible: the doctor, the developer, or the hospital. So basically, ethical use requires clear lines of responsibility within the AI and machine learning algorithms. Second is data privacy and security. So within that, we have patient data confidentiality. So AI needs massive data sets to function, and this raises risks relative to data breaches. So strict compliance with HIPAA and GDPR is essential. We also consider cybersecurity vulnerabilities. So AI-driven medical devices and platforms may introduce new cybersecurity risks, making healthcare infrastructures very vulnerable when it comes to AI and machine learning. We also have complex regulatory frameworks. So within that, we have evolving regulatory landscape. So AI solutions frequently evolve through continuous learning from new data, complicating adherence to static regulatory approval processes such as FDA and ISO standards. Additionally, we have validation and performance monitoring. So regulatory agencies require extensive validation of AI systems to confirm their safety and efficacy. However, the adaptive learning nature of AI complicates this long-term validation. And then last, overcoming biases within AI data sets. So we can have inherent data biases within these data sets. AI algorithms could reflect these biases inherent within the training data set. So we need to ensure that the data set itself represents a broad demographic group, which is crucial for equitable AI applications. So effectively addressing all of these challenges, ethical consideration, data privacy, regulatory compliance, data biases, basically require proactive strategies, interdisciplinary collaboration, ongoing commitment from medtech developers, healthcare professionals, regulators, and stakeholders. So ultimately, successfully overcoming these barriers is vital to realizing AI's transformative potential in healthcare. And we ensure that these benefits are equitably shared, ethically sound, and ultimately fostering trust and broad adoption within the clinical environments. So we're looking at just a handful here of current real-world applications of AI in medical devices. And honestly, this slide could be 10 times longer. So there's hundreds of innovations emerging on every corner of healthcare right now with regards to AI and machine learning. So we'll just discuss a few. But many of these devices my teams and I work on use AI for advanced detection, decision support, whether it's pinpointing the presence of cancer, guiding the placement of surgical tools, or interpreting complex physiological data in real time. So for example, AI is now being used to detect lung cancer directly from CT scans, helping radiologists catch diseases earlier with greater accuracy. It can analyze echocardiograms to assess cardiac health and spot arrhythmias or subtle warning signs long before symptoms appear. And it's also being applied to classifying skin lesions from simple dermatology images and distinguishing between benign moles and potential melanomas with precision. So in ophthalmology, AI systems can identify diabetic retinopathy and other vision-threatening conditions that basically are not detectable from standard retinal images. And this dramatically expands early diagnostics. So also within surgical suites, we have AI-driven robotics, which are assisting surgeons in planning, navigating, executing basically very delicate procedures with sub-millimeter precisions. So while I'm highlighting just a few, this is illustrating how AI is already transforming treatment plans and interventions, refining what is possible in medicine. I'm going to review a specific slide here that talks about data-driven examples and really illustrates what AI can do in medtech. So here, I'd like to highlight a current example called the MIA system, basically Mammogram Intelligent Assessment. And this technology is worth paying attention to. So it's truly impressive AI solution that already making a major impact in the medical field. In one case for the MIA system, they analyzed 80,000 mammograms in a single weekend. So that's equivalent to an entire year's workload for about 30 radiologists. And it didn't just do it fast, it did it with exceptional sensitivity and specificity. So in a real prospective evaluation in the UK involving 11,000 patients where MIA helped clinicians detect 12% more cancers than standard screening. And it did it so without increasing false positives. So it also modeled a potential workflow reduction of up to 30%, showing how AI can relieve pressure on overextended healthcare systems. Across Europe, in Hungary, MIA was implemented as a third reader across roughly 25,000 mammograms. And in some cases, MIA boosted cancer detection by 5 to 13%, catching cases that human readers had missed. And impressively, more than 80% of those additional cancers were invasive. So there's another trial using MIA. It reanalyzed more than 12,000 mammograms initially labeled as normal, and it flagged 10% for re-reviewing, which led to 11 recalls, 5 of which were confirmed cancer. So MIA isn't just a proof of concept, it's already CE certified or CE marked and registered in multiple countries. And ultimately, it's adaptable to different screening workflows. So as an independent reader, concurrent reading, or assistive reader. So together, these results show how MIA doesn't just promise scalability, it's already demonstrating real measurable gains in detection, accuracy, efficiency, and clinical value. So that's what MIA has done in the medtech field. So how does MIA really work? Like what is driving the AI, the machine learning, the algorithm? So let's talk about that. So it all comes down to how intelligently the AI is trained for MIA. So the accuracy of it basically predicts, it lives and dies by the quality and the training process that MIA has been trained on. So this has been one of the biggest stumbling blocks for early generations of technology. Training data that simply wasn't broad or representative enough. It's important to remember a digitized mammogram is essentially millions of pixels. So the AI isn't just looking at the image, it's detecting ultra subtle patterns within those pixels that may be invisible to the human eye. To do so, the system needs to be trained on data that's not only vast, but diverse. So that means that training images must come from a wide range of hospitals, geographies, patient populations. So if you're planning to launch your product in markets like the US, UK, or China, the AI must have seen data from all those regions to ensure that it performs accurately across them. So in Mia's case, the system was trained on over 3 million mammogram images. It gives it the ability to identify patterns and correlations that even experienced radiologists might miss. So that is basically the foundation. So once trained, the AI can then analyze each image in seconds, comparing against massive knowledge base based upon delivering precise data-driven insights and not replacing clinical judgments, though. On this next slide, we'll talk about a positive example of responsible AI. So again, talking about MIA. So MIA represents what's basically a responsible AI system should look like in the medtech, a system that delivers reliable, clinically validated cancer detection while enhancing and not replacing the expertise of radiologists. So the results speak for themselves, basically, and we're seeing a significant reduction in missed cancers, a marked decrease in false positives, and fewer unnecessary patient recalls and biopsies. So this not only protects patients from added anxiety, but also risk, which builds greater confidence in the overall screening process for cancer treatment. So from a healthcare perspective, this impact goes even further. So by streamlining diagnostic workflows, AI contributes to major cost savings that help alleviate radiologist shortage issues that many countries face today. And it allows specialists to focus on more complex cases while AI efficiently handles large scale-up screenings, leading to higher productivity, faster throughput, and better patient overall outcomes. So this isn't just technology for technology's sake. AI applied with responsibility, purpose, and measured value is advancing both clinician performance and human patient care. On this next slide, I wanted to close out the webinar and I'll discuss advancements in AI and machine learning that aren't just theoretical, but are actually shaping the future of medtech. So from enhancing diagnostic accuracy to streamlining the regulatory process, AI is making a tangible impact in healthcare. And this isn't just the beginning. AI's role in medtech is poised to grow even further, bringing about innovations that will continue to revolutionize healthcare as we know it. So let's talk about a few different subjects and then, looking ahead as well. So we have AI enhanced diagnostics. So this is one of the most significant developments in use of AI in diagnostic accuracy. So for example, AI algorithms are now capable of analyzing the medical images, X-rays, MRIs with remarkable precision. So these tools identify patterns and anomalies that might be missed by the human eye, leading to earlier and more accurate diagnosis. This is not only improves patient outcomes, but also helps reduce the burden on healthcare professionals. Also, we can talk about streamlining regulatory processes. So AI is also playing a critical role in streamlining regulatory processes. In the highly regulated field of medtech, ensuring compliance with standards like FDA regulations or ISO certifications can be sometimes time-consuming and complex. So AI can automate some of these aspects of documentation and analysis, reducing reducing the risk of errors and speeding up regulatory approval processes. And this allows innovative medical devices to reach the market faster, ultimately benefiting patients. Also, we'll talk about accelerating research and development. So in the realm of research and development, AI is revolutionizing how we approach the discovery and testing of new medical treatments. So AI algorithms can quickly analyze vast amounts of data, from generic information to clinical trial results, identifying potential breakthroughs faster than ever before. So this accelerates the development of new drugs, treatments, and medical devices, ensuring that life-saving innovations reaches patients sooner. Also, next, we're looking at improving patient outcomes. So perhaps the most critical aspects of AI. And in AI MedTech, it's the ability to improve the patient outcomes. That's the reason we're here at the table. So by integrating AI into treatment plans, healthcare providers can offer more personalized and effective care. For instance, AI can analyze a patient's medical history, current condition, and even generic profiles to recommend more effective treatment options. And this level of personalized medicine is basically transforming how we approach patient care, leading to better results and higher patient satisfaction. So in looking ahead, these examples basically are just the beginning of AI's impact on medtech. And as AI technologies continue to evolve, we could expect even more groundbreaking developments that ultimately will further revolutionize healthcare. And whether it's through more advanced diagnostics or groundbreaking developments, basically we're looking at more efficient processes, creating the entire treatment modalities, and AI is set to play an increasing central role in shaping the future of medicine. So I appreciate everybody's time today. That's the information I had to share, and certainly I'd be happy to open up to questions within the group. So Karen, I'm not sure where the questions may present themselves. Could you?
Hi, Greg. So the questions are in the Q&A tab on the top of your screen.
Okay. Just taking a look at that. Okay. So there's one question. Okay. Got it. I see it. So one question talks about healthcare executives. They worry about AI's impact on their workforce. And do you see replacing clinicians or complementing their roles? So with regards to that question, my thought process is that AI in healthcare is primarily a powerful complement rather than a replacement for clinicians, as I mentioned before. So its strength lies in enhancing the precision, speed, accuracy, especially in repetitive or data-intensive tasks, such as imaging analysis and diagnostics. So clinician roles will shift towards higher value activities, patient interactions, complex medical decision-making, compassionate care. Those are, areas that we can always use more of. And if we free up physicians' time using AI, we're ultimately expanding AI's capabilities rather than reducing the human judgment. We're at a win for that. So I see a second question. Given the significant role of data in training AI systems, how can healthcare companies manage data privacy concerns effectively? Okay, that's a good question. Managing data privacy begins with robust frameworks that are aligned with regulatory standards, HIPAA, GDPR, and others. So organizations ultimately should adopt stringent data anonymity, encryption, and basically secure storage practices in their development. So transparency with patients regarding data use, informed consent protocols, and clear data governance policies are essential. So establishing proactive cybersecurity measures and ongoing staff training further safeguard against breaches, build trust, and ensure compliance as we move forward. Let's see. Question. Another question I see is, how can healthcare organizations practically address and mitigate bias in AI systems to ensure equitable patient outcomes? Okay. So my thought on this is organizations should prioritize collecting diverse and representative data sets, as I mentioned before, during all AI development to prevent bias amplification. So regular algorithmic audits are essential for detecting unintended biases early. Actively applying fairness and aware machine learning methods, engaging in multidisciplinary review teams, and continually monitoring AI performance across demographic groups helps ensure equitable outcomes. And ultimately, transparency, accountability mechanisms are critical to foster trust and fairness in AI-driven decisions. And let's see, another question, one of the last questions I'll take since we're running on time here is, what are some practical first steps for healthcare and life science executives to build AI-informed organizational mindset? So the idea that I have in this regard is a practical starting point. Basically, is providing leadership and staff with foundational AI literacy and training to clearly outline AI's capabilities and its limitations and ethical considerations as well. So executives and developers really should encourage pilot projects to demonstrate tangible benefits, fostering organizational learning, and additionally promoting an interdisciplinary collaboration, integrating medical and technical, ethical, and regulatory expertise. And ultimately, this will establish a robust governance structures, embedding a sustainable AI-informed mindset across the organization. So that pretty much concludes our thought process on this webinar. I appreciate everybody's time involved, and certainly appreciate everybody's time in spending today. And certainly be happy if you'd like to reach out to us. We'd be happy to have any one-on-one sessions with any of the individuals here on the webinar. This is my contact information, and looking forward to touching base with all the individuals from MedTech Canada on any further questions they may have on this webinar.